Hi, Shivram. Good afternoon. Are you there? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
there? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay, great. Right. So, welcome to the session. My name is Mohita, and we'll be discussing about understanding how you are to make sure that you clear your interviews. Like, what is an interview? What are the important things you need to take care while you'll be taking up the interviews and all, right? Allow me to share my screen. Okay, guys. So the topic which we are to discuss in today's class, this is going to be interview process. Basically, we'll be understanding what an interview process is, what are the important things you need to take care while you'll be preparing and appearing for your interview, right? So as we have four participants with us, and these are Roshini, Sayaja, Dhatri, and Prabal, right? Whatever your questions will be, whatever your queries will be, please make sure that you, instead of unmuting yourself, put those in the chat section, and I'll be acknowledging all your doubts and your queries from the doubt section once I will conclude the session, right? So moving towards the topic of the day, that is to understand the interview process. First of all, what is an interview? An interview is basically your interaction, your first interaction with your employer, where the employer is given a chance to understand about your profile to make sure that you are a worthy candidate for that given job role, right? Okay. So basically the first interaction, your first interaction with your employees is your first impression, right? So that needs to be really countable, that needs to be really impressive and compelling, because here you will be selling your profile, you'll be selling your traits. So everything counts in this particular interaction, be it your conversation, be it your facial expressions, your non-verbal body language, your verbal skills, everything counts in this particular first interaction, right? Moving forward, okay, so whenever you are asked to appear for an interview, there is always a nervousness, always an anxiety, a kind of, inquisitiveness that what is going to happen, what kind of questions they will ask, how you will be going to answer those questions. So before you go for any interview, once you get the notification or once you get the interview call, one should always prepare a little for the same, correct? And in this preparation, you need to first understand the kind of organization or the kind of work profile you are going to appear for. And for the same, there are some of the expected questions which most of the organizations generally ask their employees, ask their candidates to check their work. And these questions you can definitely get from the YouTube videos, you can get from the various search engines. Just make sure that you need to do a little research, you need to do a little homework for the same. Now, what are the 11 types of interview questions HR can ask candidates? These are the general questions which most of the organization ask their candidates, right? Irrespective to the type of the organization they are, irrespective to the job role you will be going for. First is the kind of strategic interview questions. Strategic interview questions basically are, how do you think you will be able to contribute to the company's corporate vision? That means they would be asking for your worth, they would be asking for your value you're going to add to the organization. how you will be helpful and the most worth, worthy candidate for that particular job role. So this is the chance where you need to exhibit your traits, where you need to highlight your worth as per the organization, as per the job role. Next, you have the screening interview questions. These screening interview questions are basically for your, these are why you have considered, why they would consider you as the best profile, correct? So for this, you need to you need to make them sure that you carry, that you already have contributed your previous organization, you already have benefited your previous organizations with the traits you are having, with the examples, with the results you had provided. And most of the time, people forget to mention their role and very important now thing, which is the numbers. Mentioning numbers, mentioning metrics while you'll be explaining or while you'll be highlighting the results, make it more compelling, make it more believable, right? So try to add metrics to your results. Always give your contribution, whatever job, whatever roles and responsibilities you have carried out in your previous organization. Try to mention it with some of the results, metrics, with the result oriented way where metric needs to be given, right? See, you need to convince your employer, you need to make them understand that you are the best candidate, right? And for the same, there'll be some of the elements you have to add to your answers. And that can easily be added and understandable. You have to just comprehend what are the keywords, what things you can add. And it is not that you'll be just adding it randomly. You need to relate what is given there in the job description area to your profile, and what is matchable, what is the most relevant. Pick those things, and then you have to mention only those particular areas. As every job role and every organization, they have a different set of requirements and the expectations, right? So that is the reason these interview, while answering these interview questions, it gets really important that your major focus should be on your keywords, should be on the it should be result oriented and organization specific. Next comes the behavioral interview questions. These behavioral interview questions include some of the situations when you are to exhibit your behavior, like the kind of reactions you will be providing, the kind of um, how you would be reacting to certain situations. Correct. So such example to such a question can be: how do you typically structure your workday and make sure you complete your tasks? So basically, by this question, the interview would be trying to understand about your approach towards your work, about your planning, about your management skills with your own work, with your own responsibilities. Next comes the performance-based interview questions. Performance-based interview questions are basically the technical questions. The technical questions which are to mention more about your skills, how you ever initiate a change at work. Here you are to answer, you are to manage, explaining about some of the traits which help the organization, your creativity basically. You are to put forward the creativity you will be having, which had helped your previous organization to make it more, to come out with some of the challenging situation, right? So this way, some of the behavioral questions needs to be answered where the major focus should be on your contribution. The major focus should be on skills you have utilized, and not only helping the organization, but moving as a team. But do not, at the same time, you are to make sure that center of attraction needs to be your contribution instead of mentioning the complete team efforts. Sometimes you are to take the credit of the work you have done. right? Next is the interview questions on experience. So, for an example, in what ways have you contributed to the former employer's success? Here, you can mention about any of the tasks you have achieved, any of the milestone you have achieved for your organization. It can be any sales boost. It can be any um, enhancement in their in their solving the customer complaints, and like it can be any of the milestone you have achieved during your time period. Correct. Next is about what your aspirations are, what you aim at, with what vision you are moving, how far sighted and how clear you are with your thoughts. Correct. So, what attracted you to this role, and how would it fit into your long term career plan? Right. So, try managing your long term plans, try managing your far sighted vision with the clear intention, with the clear idea to relate that particular thing with the provided job opportunity. Make sure while answering these questions, your answer needs to be very much relevant to the particular job role, very much relevant to the company specific. The better, the more you will be specific, the more you will be in sync with their expectations, in sync with their requirements, the chances of you to get the job role definitely increases. Next comes the technical interview, where your hard skills are going to be assessed. Employer is the employer needs to understand that how you can be technically, how much you are technically trained, the experience you claim that you hold, how much you will be exhibiting that, or how you are going to make it happen with the organization. Purpose is to understand that how you will be working on the different situations. It can be phones. So these are some of the things depending upon the organization. First is the phone screening. The purpose of this round is for the company to determine if you are qualified for the role and are a good fit for the organization. Most questions in the state are behavioral, but questions may rise that will ask about proficiency in a certain programming language, etc. So in this particular type of stage, I would call it a stage one to the interview process, right? So in the stage one of the interview process, they would be asking about how whether you are the whether you are the fit role or not. If they are looking for something which is actually important, are you carrying those things or not? A quick screening, maybe of 5 minutes, not more than that, and that's it. You are moved to the next stage, which can be online assessment. Any like in case of this can be some questionnaire, this can be some quick examination like an assessment which you are to solve. Correct. And the completion of it, and at the same time getting through to this assessment, takes you to the stage 3. So this is a homework type assignment for you to complete by a certain deadline. Some employers are turning to visual assessments entirely, and this might be the last round. Last round in a case if you are not able to clear it. Last round in a case when you are not able to go through with that particular assessment. However, if you are successful in completing it, you are moved to the next round, which is the video assessment. Now, video assessment is a online virtual interview planned. So video assessments are the virtual rounds, virtual interviews, which you are to attend with the HRs, with the interview panel. Right. So companies will often want to test your coding abilities before having you come for an in-person interview, right? So this can be again the similar round, but here you will be competing with some of the candidates or some of the eligible candidates. Maybe those who have already cleared the stage two. And for the same, you will be competing with those all, and the best will move towards the next one. On-site and whiteboarding. This is the final stage and usually involves as an in-person coding challenge for you to complete in front of the interviewer. They would be putting you in a simpler situation or maybe some complex one, and you have to come up with something which helps them to come out of that particular situation. Right. So that means if you have reached here, you are actually near to the final round. Like you are actually near to acquire that job. Now, what should you wear? What should you bring? And who will be interviewing you? This is a question which definitely needs to be answered before you go for the interview, before you, while you'll be preparing for it, along with the expected questions, along with the working on your technical and the non-technical skills, like the hard skills and the soft skills. You need to take all these things into account as well. Now, talking about the clothes, the clothing, the dress sense you'll be having, you should wear. So, tech is in case of the technical interviews, in case of the complete techie rounds, basically, right? So, tech is a fairly relaxed industry at times, but for interviews, a good rule of thumb is to dress one level above the company's dress code. That means a level up would be a business casual. Correct. So if they are already following business casuals, you need to be a little graceful. You need to be up with your dress sense. Next comes a what should you get? Always carry your always carry a pen and paper with you. Always carry a notepad or a pen with you. And definitely the hard copy of your resumes. This is the common mistake people do, that they are in this perception they have already submitted all the soft copies, all the documents, soft copies of all the documents with the recruiter. But carrying the hard copies definitely won't give you any harm. However, it solves the last minute ruckus. It gives you an ease. It provides you an confidence to appear for your last round. Right. So always carry some hard copies, 2 to 3 copies of your resume and hard copies of your documents. Next is who will be interviewing you. Now, this is a tricky question. It depends upon the size of organization most of the time. For the MNCs, for the big organization, they have people, they have their seniors in charge, recruiters, who most of the time interview their trainee, interview the candidates. However, for the smaller organizations, these interviewers can definitely be the mentor itself, can be the CEOs itself, the CTOs, it can be the owner of the organization as well. So if it is really a startup, definitely any owner will come up and will interview you. However, for the larger organization, behavioral interviews may be with HR, while technicals are with the technical teams. So it can be good to look up your interviewer on LinkedIn before you interview. And this can definitely be done by reviewing about your organization. Check for the people who are connected with your organization, who are working on certain designation, which are definitely above the job role you'll be applying for. This will give you a little benefit over the others, that this will make the interviewer understand that yes, the much needed homework is done, and this always talk about the approach you carry with you, the kind of sincerity you'll be having for the opportunity provided. So next we have some of the behavioral interview patterns, what kind of questions can be asked and how you are to come up with their answers and how you are to prepare yourself self for such behavioral interviews. So behavioral interviews basically this for the assessment of your past behavior to predict future performances. They will be analyzing what you have done previously, the kind of results you have achieved, the kind of milestones, achievements, certifications, your qualifications, everything will be under radar. And as per that, they will be judging your profile. And as per that, they will be providing you the job. Describe a time when you handle the difficult situation. So, following a STAR method, which is to situation, task, action, and result, will give you a better path, will give you a clarity towards answering such questions. So these are some of the examples of the questions, like describe a time when you handle a difficult situation. Give an example of a time when you worked in a team, right? So these questions are basically asked for you to understand how much you are good at taking up the pressures, how much you are good at managing the difficult situation, managing the adverse situation, right? And how well you are with the team, with your communication skills, with your leadership skills, your teamwork, your coordination, your management, everything, right? So make sure that you will be not randomly answering these questions. Whatever you will be answering, that needs to be up to its best of the information. It should be completely true to its value. Make sure that your answers need to be concise instead of talking about or instead of getting into the detail or into or framing into some stories. Make sure that your answers need to be concise. Those not like though your answers need not to be lengthy, and it should definitely highlight the results you are having. Now these are the types of interview. First is the HR interview, next is the technical interview, and the behavioral interview. For the HR interview, you are to focus more on your soft skills, your motivation, the relevancy of your traits with the organization's expectations. Next is the technical interviews. With the technical interviews, definitely you are to exhibit more of your specific skills, more of your technical skills, your practical knowledge by addressing the experience you are having, by addressing the results you have achieved with your past experiences. And for the behavioral interview, you are definitely to mention your past experiences where you had worked on difficult situation, where you had worked with some of the teams. Now, online interviews, these are the virtual interviews where the employer where the employer or the recruiter gives you a link of their suitable platform, and you are to join those links for your virtual interviews. For these interviews, make sure that your connectivity needs to be a stable one. Your video needs to be on. There should be proper audio. You, your recruiter needs to be audible to you as well. So check your system properly, check your audio, videos, everything, and definitely have a cross check on the connectivity you have. It can be conducted through Zoom meetings, through Google Meets, Microsoft Teams. So whatever is their preferred and the appropriate platform, they would be giving you the link to the same. In this ever changing world, technology is evolving each and every day, right? And definitely with the technology, we are connected to the world. But there are certain of the challenges we need to take care, And these challenges are definitely the connectivity. The internet connectivity sometimes gets weak, it's meek, and you are not able to connect, you are not able to sound well, you are not present yourself completely. So make sure that you check all these things prior. And the second most challenging part in these interview rounds, online interview rounds, is the body language. The person sitting on the other side of the screen definitely won't be able to have a complete judgment of your body language, your non-verbal skills. So make sure it needs to be loud enough to reach the interviewer. Like needs to have a stable eye contact. You need to ensure that your body language should be in sync with your answers. And it is definitely not you will be exhibiting, you will be on the full screen with your hand movements and everything, but make sure that with gestures, with nods, constant eye contacts, having a gentle smile on your face, you can overcome these challenges for sure. And for such kind of interviews, you can definitely have a check, like a prior mock interview. You can have an sample interview with with your mentor or with any of your friends, just to make sure that the other person is receiving best of the answers. So these are the common interview questions. Please have a look of these questions and look for the answers as well. And if you believe that there is no such good answers to for these questions, you can ask. Take 2 3 minutes, quick look of take a quick look of these questions, and make sure that you are good with this. Okay, so I believe that these questions you are very much clear with. If still you have any of the doubt, you can put it in the chat box. I will try to look up with your queries and be more specific with the answers. Now the panel interviews. It features multiple interviewers, like there'll be more than one interviewer in the interview panel. It can be someone from the HR, someone from the technical department, and the main CEOs, the senior manager, and all. So basically, a complete panel where everyone will be assessing you on their own particular parameters, handling multiple perceptions and the questions. Now, the major challenge here is the answer which can be best to one's perception cannot be appropriate to the other one. So in such kind of scenarios, you are on a major risk. These are the most challenging situations because you cannot satisfy everybody's perception. So try to answer in the general perception, general ideas will help you here. Maintain eye contacts with all the panel members while answering your questions. Stay composed, even if you are being criticized or even if you are being opposed with some of your answers. Stay composed. Do not get into any kind of arguments. Instead, and at the same time, do not try to defend your answers. Just be assertive that this is just your perception. You definitely cannot generalize the whole thing, but they had asked you about your perception and you had given the same. So be concise, instead of getting into any argument or defending your answers, be concise with your answers with an assertive tone. And you have to acknowledge each and every interviewer here. It is not that if one had asked you something, you'll be only answering or you'll be only looking at that particular person. Now, these are some of the tips, quick tips for you to get through with this panel interview. Learn who the panel members are beforehand. And this information you can get from your LinkedIn. You can get from the various um, the company website itself by exploring who all are the members, who all can be the expected um, panel members, right? Most of the time, these are from the major senior positions. Balance your eye contact and make sure to engage with everyone. Keep in the most important thing here is to be confident throughout. Next is keep in mind that each interviewer could be evaluating you for different things, right? So while you'll be answering, someone will be only focusing on the technical answer. Someone will be focusing on the way you will be speaking. Someone will be focusing on your body language, right? So this way, multiple people can be there with the multiple things to assess. So definitely, you are not to you're not to um retain or refrain yourself with some of the specific things. But at the same time, please be concise with your answers. Adapt, but don't be that brief that you'll be start giving your answers in one line or two lines. It needs to be complete but concise. Adapt your responses so that you highlight your unique selling point. And definitely by this, it means that you need to relate what is best for you. You need to relate the best, or you need to relate the most expected things, most expected um, most expected requirements to your traits. Show that you can handle the situation, show that any of the pressure situation can be handled well by you by giving some of the references, by giving some of your past experiences. Ask 3 to 4 thoughtful questions at the end of the interview. Send a personalized thank you email to each panelist. Now, these last 2 points showcase the gratitude you showcase them, the kind of gratification you will be providing for the opportunity provided. Now, for one-on-one interviews. One-on-one interviews, these are the direct interactions where a interviewer will be there in front of you and you'll be answering only to one particular person. The challenges can be that you are the only one there and the person is completely focused on your complete performance. And all the aspects of your profile will be assessed by that one person. Maybe that person is from HR and asking you technical questions and completely focus on the other soft skill would miss out to any of the technical details you will be providing, right? So these can be one such challenge here, and the tips are given here. So as a manager, examine the employee's recent work, noting okay as a manager what you need to do and as the employee what you need to do. So draft a clear agenda that includes discuss points, goals, and any specific feedback. Be ready to deliver constructive feedback. Identify potential opportunities for growth and be prepared to discuss them. Reflect on the interpersonal dynamics and the overall morale of your team. Come to the meeting ready to listen actively. And as an employee, conduct a self-evaluation of your recent performance. Prepare a summary of your work since the last meeting. Create a list of topics you wish to discuss, including any specific feedback or the questions above career developments. Have a set of questions or the concerns ready that you want to address. Be prepared to provide feedback to your manager if required. This is an important point if asked. Correct. Review your personal and professional goals, ensuring they align with the team and organizational objectives. In summary, I can only mention that as an in manager, you need to make sure that you don't need to be dominating there, but at the same time, you will be the interviewer. You will be the one who will be taking up the interview. So make sure that you are to examine the person's complete profile, specifically the achievements and the areas where the person needs improvement. There is always benefit when you provide some feedback after the interview. This enables that candidate to work on their profile again, and also it exhibit a kind gesture, right? And as an employee, it is important that you do a little research. A research is definitely helpful, where you can where you can be easily able to understand what is to mention. Prepare a summary of your work since the last meeting. Like you are to exhibit whatever you have done, what best things you were there at, and all the important factors. Look for some of the set of questions or the concern with you. If given a chance, you need to put those questions, you need to mention those questions to the employee. Now, self-introduction practice for the mock interviews. While online, you need to first check the technology. Keep a professional setup around. Like look for a well-lit place. Look for a noise-free place. There should not be any distraction. Try to be at a place where there'll be minimal background noises with much of the appropriate lighting around. Very importantly, you need not to be blend with your background, so try to wear formal clothes. You need to be proper, like your hair need to be properly well combed, and wear neat and clean clothes. And in case you are going for a one-on-one session, you need to have strong personal connection. Structured responses need to be given. Address all members in case it is a panel interview, and stay confident. Please go through with this slide. Okay, so guys, last 5 minutes is for your questions. Any questions you guys are having? The rest of the things we'll discuss in the next class, which will be again on next Tuesday, same timings. Any questions from you guys about what we have already done? Please let me know.
Ma'am,
Yes.
in common questions by the interviewer, fifth question, how do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now? So how we do you need to answer for that question?
Okay, so for such questions, you need to talk about your future plans. You need to talk about the vision you are having. It talks about the approach you'll be having for your growth. Basically, for what job role you will be looking for, they want to check whether if you are planning for a long-term association, or you are only for like short, or you are only for a short term with the organization, right? So make sure that your long-term goal, you need to mention your long-term goals in sync with your job profile, right?
Okay. Thank you.